very pleasant. I could just stand here and stroke it all day long.
Temperature's dropping quickly, but when she was standing in the sun, the car showed 39.
Which is a very hot day. Can you tell us where we're going?
I think show garden is the right term, but we'll find out a bit more when we get there. It's a Mediterranean garden, just under an hour from us. I found it when I was looking for some help with landscape design. These are two British ladies, I think, or one British, one French, something like that. And they run this Mediterranean show garden, low water, drought resistance, plants native to the region.
They are landscape designers, right?
Yeah, and they offer not landscape design services, but planting design services. So I understood the difference.
I don't know the difference.
A landscape designer will step beyond the actual plants and will also look at constructions and things as well.
Okay.
For them, it's not constructions. It's more giving you a list of plants that will fit well in your circumstances and with your wishes, and that also fit the Mediterranean low water style garden. So that's where we're going.
They have an open door event.
Exactly.
And it's a very hot day. Let's hope we survive it. Because it's going to be out in the open.
So we're very interested in the concept of a Mediterranean drought-resistant garden, because of course we're in the south here. We're definitely not one of the regions most heavily affected by drought, but
It's quite green around here, so
yeah,
it does rain.
It's part of the reason we chose it, and it's been better actually the last couple of months. We've got more rain than we expected. But nevertheless,
Lots.
it's a dry and it's a warm region with strong Mediterranean influence in summers. So if we can try to plant as natively as possible species which exist in this climate, which are adapted to it, then we can have hopefully a beautiful garden, a garden that fits in with what's expected for the region and that doesn't demand much water.
It's the key point.
rosemary. Well, it's clear. I just...
Someone on Facebook asked what was wrong with the basil. Why does the basil look like this? You remember?
I remember.
The comments were very funny.
I know.
Like it's having an identity crisis or something. Who do you think this is?
This is like my favourite part of the garden.
Yes, we gravitate towards this part
Uh-huh.
because it's in the shade.
Probably that part would be as well, under the enormous
Also
pine
because
tree.
they promised some lemonade and a cake.
That too, yeah.
These are oats on steroids. Almost the same height as me. It's almonds, that's how they grow. Texture is really nice and soft. Very pleasant. I could just stand here and stroke it all day long in the shade that this tree provides. Is it a tree or a bush?
Much diversity here. Look at this one, this is interesting. Colour shade of the bush.
We got this bush. Look, it's the same bush we have. I think so. Very pleasant.
Very pleasant.
Et je crois le 12, autour du 12 pour la suite.
Very nice.
So, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't exactly what I expected. I'd been on the site, I'd seen the photos, but in reality it looks a bit different. I think the thing that surprised me most was that it was mostly entirely full sun. And
Yeah, very little shade.
yeah, I mean, I know what Mediterranean vegetation is like. It's, you know, long spines, short shrubs, low things, but
Lots of aromatic
on a hot
shrubs.
day, I hadn't expected that there would be so little shade. They did well though, they created some spots with shade, but I don't know, I think for my garden I would prefer, like, for a big portion to be mostly in shade. There were loads of insects, there was
That
loads
was
of
really fun to watch, yeah.
loads of birds, some great smells. What did you think?
I loved the aromas. Definitely that's what I want for our plot, to have a lot of plants that give off a nice smell. Many of them as well repel mosquitoes, I think. So that's you kill 2 mosquitoes with 1 plant. Or maybe more, I don't know.
Although there was 1 recorded mosquito attack on me.
That's true. That's true.
Unsuccessful, we hope.
I loved the pine tree with those large branches, and it was lovely in the shade. I never used to appreciate shade as much as I have learned to now that we're in the south. I used to take it for granted, I have to say. Coming from a country with a lot of forests, here every time I find shade on a sunny day, I'm really surprised by the difference. I think the difference is drastic, right? It's like maybe, I don't know, 8 degrees or maybe 10.
Well, you can exist
enormous.
in the shade.
Yeah,
you can't really
it's
exist
pleasant.
in the sun.
It's even pleasant in the shade.
In the sun, it kind of like, it's like you in the depths of winter in Russia when you get your minus 20, 25.
You're running from shop to shop.
You go out in it and then you're always hunting the warm places. You can't actually exist out there in that temperature for too long.
Yeah, it's the same, just the opposite. I really like that artsy, messy feel. I feel like it speaks to me.
Because I wasn't sure, you mentioned that it was quite messy.
Yeah, but I do like the stones and the paths, and you can't really tell the path from the beds.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I really like that
it.
too. I don't want everything to be absolutely neat and absolutely, right angles and that kind of thing. I think number 1, it's a massive amount of work, and number 2, it just looks very artificial. I much prefer it like that.
Requires a lot of water too, probably. Remember that path where some soft grass caresses your shins?
Yes.
That is so lovely. It's so pleasant physically, but also it's really nice because you can't tell. When you walked on that path, I wasn't sure where you were going because to me it wasn't a path. So it adds that mysterious feel, and that's something I really like. I think the thing that I liked the most about this garden is that it reminded me a lot of the garden that we wanted to do in Russia. Different plants, but similar concept. A lot of wild flowers that are inviting for
We wanted
insects.
to go for a sort of a meadow appeal where it wouldn't be too manicured.
That's what Jardin Champêtre means. I looked it up. Champêtre is a garden, like a meadowy garden in the countryside, where there's a lot of wildflowers, as far as I understand.
Of course she looked it up. I've been saying it for half a year and haven't bothered to look it up.
Yeah, another fun fact. I think one of my favorite movies when I was growing up was The Secret Garden. I think there are many remakes of the same thing. I think it has to do with some sick child and how they make a friend and they do something in that garden. I can't remember, but I just remember really loving it and the whole visual experience of it. It's definitely something I would like to do. I want to hide our garden a little bit from the neighbors and from the street.
We need to close it off a bit. Gradually.
Plus, everyone comments on the state of the grass, whether it's neat, whether it's grown, overgrown. Yeah, I prefer to hide it a little bit. I don't mind overgrown gardens. I don't know.
Okay, so we're happy with the visit and we like what they do, and we'll probably, I think, rely on them for some help in choosing the right kind of plants. Yeah. So yeah, they seem nice and we'll be happy to support them.
And if you're in Carcassonne or nearby, you can go to one of these events. The dates are on their website, so go ahead and look around.